This video is presented to you by VOSARD, Voluntary Organization for Social Action and Rural Development. This short film will give you an overview on the Watershed Project, which is supported by the Karl Kübel Stiftung and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. The project area is located in the south of India in the state of Kerala. In the Vathikudy Panchayat of the Idukki District, lots of small and marginalized farmers face social and economic problems. The overall objective of the Watershed program is the improvement of the economic situation of the rural population in the Idukki District through sustainable and efficient use of resources and income-generating activities. The project is divided into 4 phases. The first phase started in 2014 and went on for 1 year. Each of the following phases is scheduled for 1 year, which means that the entire project will be finished by the end of 2017. The activities can be divided into 4 categories. Social empowerment, establishing and strengthening the local community. Watershed protection, taking measures to protect agricultural soil from erosion and increasing its productivity. Agriculture and livelihood security, introducing sustainable agricultural practices, raising and stabilizing income. Alternative domestic energy, installing new and sustainable domestic energy sources. Now let us have a closer look at the 4 categories. Social empowerment. The farmers are organized into 50 self-help groups, SHGs, 3 clusters and 1 federation. The clusters are elected from the SHG members, and there is also 1 watershed committee. Through the SHGs, the local community is strengthened, the members meet weekly and collect monthly contributions. From these contributions, members can get revolving schemes, which they pay back afterwards. VOSARD gives additional money to start micro-enterprises, for example a goat-rearing unit. The clusters are constituted of SHG leaders. They can easily share experience and knowledge among all SHG members. If there's a government scheme available, for instance, VOSARD would inform all the cluster members who would spread the information across all self-help groups. As you can see, this organizational structure provides an easy and efficient flow of information. The leaders get trainings to increase the efficiency of their SHGs and to motivate the members. Cluster meetings are held 3 times a year. The Federation is yet another gathering of elected representatives. The Watershed Committee involves beneficiaries in planning, implementing and monitoring the Watershed program. All in all, 738 families are included in these community-based organizations. Those institutions remain after the completion of the project. The beneficiaries will have the capacity and motivation to keep developing the community and the area. Earlier, there was a mud road, for instance, so that cluster and SHG leaders approached local politicians. The road was secured and upgraded with concrete, which is why the village is easier to access and the procurement of materials is much more convenient. Watershed protection.
In the project area, there are problems of erosion and low groundwater level. Erosion is taking place as the rainwater rushes down the steep slopes of hilly areas, dragging away so much of soil. Another problem is that while the water is flowing down, it does not percolate into the ground. The groundwater level is low in these areas.
To stop erosion from taking away farmland and to increase the groundwater level, the following measures are taken. Counter trenches hold water coming from upper regions. The water is flowing into the trenches instead of running down the hill at increasing speed. After some time, the farmers can empty the trenches to use all the collected soil on their fields.
Since we built the pits, we can preserve the water. Before, the rainwater was flowing down the slope without any benefit.
The rainwater can be stored in the ground from the rain season to the dry season, which means that there's always enough water available to supply the farmers' households and their fields. To increase the usable land, stone bunds are built to make the slope plainer and to stop erosion. The stones make the soil more stable, which can also be done by planting crops like hibiscus or fodder. This is called live fencing.
Since we built the stone bund, we can prevent soil erosion. We have much more space to cultivate crops.
Gully plugging combines all of the mentioned techniques. The water from higher regions seeps through smaller gaps, which is preventing erosion by slowing down the water. The gully is also holding back all the soil that was carried by the water. This silt can be put back on the fields. The width of the stream is secured by stone walls and live fencing plants. As a result, a lot of land is recovered and can now be cultivated. All construction works are done by the beneficiaries themselves. VOSARD provides funds and know-how, supports the beneficiaries with experts, and monitors the whole process. By implementing the mentioned schemes, these areas of wasteland can be cultivated by the farmers to generate more income and secure the food supply on a long-term basis. Agriculture and livelihood security. Many farmers are cultivating so-called cash crops, such as tea, coffee, or cardamom. VOSARD is motivating them to introduce self-sufficient farming. They should cultivate parts of their land to supply their own daily needs in a more sustainable way. That is why nutritional gardens are promoted. The farmers are motivated to grow domestic crops, such as beans, eggplants, bananas, bitter gourd, lady's finger, yam, chili, and tapioca, by using mainly organic inputs and practices. 8 different kinds of saplings are distributed to the beneficiaries, and they are informed on how to plant and grow them. On an average, every family can harvest 400 kilograms of vegetables per year. Vermicompost units are constructed in order to reduce the application of chemical fertilizers, since traces of these remain in the food. This is a less expensive and more sustainable way of getting manure. In addition, the products are healthier for the consumers. The construction of rainwater storage tanks increases the farmers' income by enabling them to grow crops in the winter months. The water is collected from the rooftops of the beneficiaries. A major part of improving the livelihood of poor farmers is to generate more income. For this purpose, the farmers can buy cows and goats using the mentioned microloans from the SHGs.
Before getting the cow from VOSARD, I was a daily wager. Now I am not going for daily wage work. I look after the cow with my wife, and I am getting sufficient income to run my family. Since the cow is pregnant, it will give birth to another calf after 7 months, so that it is also an income asset for me in the future. A part of the milk is sold, and the rest is consumed by my family. The amount spent for buying the cow is already back, and now whatever I get from the cow is a profit. Apart from the milk, the cow dung is also a source of income for me. I already received 12,000 rupees by selling cow dung, and there is still more to sell.
VOSARD promotes the cultivation of animal feed like grass, which is also preventing erosion in steep areas and will save the farmers some money. Summing up the activities until the end of the second phase, 55 dairy units, 58 goat rearing units, 49 nutritional gardens, and 8 vermicompost units were built until now. Alternative domestic energy. From the just mentioned dairy unit, the farmers can also profit in another way. The feces of the animals can be put into biogas units, which supply gas for cooking. This decreases the use of fossil fuels and is a healthier way of heating than the commonly used firewood.
Now that we are using the biogas unit, we are able to save 10,800 rupees per year. While we were using LPG gas, we had to use 1 cylinder for 3 months. Along with the cylinders, we had to use firewood, which caused smoke that was boiled in the kitchen walls. Now, after receiving the biogas unit, cooking is much easier. The slurry from the biogas unit is good manure for our plants like pepper, coffee, and vegetables. We received 36,000 rupees from KKS, and we have to repay 800 rupees per month without interest. It is worthwhile for us to receive this fund from KKS, since we cannot afford such a big amount at a time. VOSARD is organizing a lot of activities in our village, like watershed protection and various kinds of schemes and distributions which really enable development in our community.
Another issue was also discovered. Due to the bad infrastructure of the area, there are a lot of power failures. At night,
the families had to rely on kerosene lamps, which emit a lot of unhealthy carbon dioxide. Especially the children suffered from this, as they sat in the light of these lamps studying for school. VOSARD distributed over 550 solar lamps, which can be charged during daytime and used at night.
Before hitting the solar lamp, we studied in the light of kerosene lamps. It was really difficult for us to concentrate since the smoke was coming to our eyes and nose. Now we are relaxed and able to study and do our homework without any disturbance.
After the completion of 2 project phases, 25 biogas plants were built and 550 solar lamps distributed. After running the watershed project for several years, we can really see a change within the community. The measures are carried on and the beneficiaries look forward to a long-lasting development in the future.
For more information, visit our website vosard.org or facebook.com/vosard.